The world of software is going through its biggest shakeup since we all moved to the cloud. And what's causing it? It's all down to one powerful force: artificial intelligence. This is the story of a great replatforming, a moment where the very foundation of how we build, sell, and even use software is being rewritten right before our eyes. And at the very heart of this massive shift, there's this one central question, this tension that pretty much every company is wrestling with. Is this new wave of AI just a helpful teammate, a co-pilot that makes us better at our jobs? Or is it a total replacement, an autonomous agent that can make the job and all the old software completely obsolete? Okay, so let's break down these two roles. On one hand, AI can be a complement. It's like giving a superpower to the software you already use every day. But on the other hand, it can be a substitute. It's like a new hire that comes in and completely takes over an existing job. And this dynamic, complement versus substitute, is really the key to understanding everything that's happening right now. So first up, let's talk about the cooperative paradigm, where AI acts as a complement. This is the playbook of the giants, the big incumbents, who are using AI as, kind of a defensive weapon to protect their kingdoms. Just look at the big productivity suites. Microsoft isn't out here just selling a standalone chatbot. No, they're weaving Copilot deep into Office 365, using what they call the Microsoft Graph to connect it to all of your private data, your emails, your files, your meeting notes. Google's doing the exact same thing with Gemini and Workspace. The whole point isn't to replace Word or Gmail, it's to make them so incredibly powerful with AI that you can never even imagine leaving. And hey, this strategy isn't just for your Office apps. It's for any company that's sitting on a mountain of critical data. Think about Salesforce, SAP, ServiceNow. These guys hold the keys to your most important business records. So what are they doing? They're building AI co-pilots, not to replace their platforms, but to make navigating all that complex data almost impossibly simple. They're deepening their lock-in by becoming the essential AI interface to your own information. Adobe's move here was just masterful. When generative image tools like Midjourney popped up, it looks like a massive threat. But what did Adobe do? They integrated their own AI, Firefly, directly into Photoshop. And here's the genius part. They trained it only on their own Adobe stock library, which meant they could offer legal protection to businesses. So they didn't just compete, they turned an existential threat into an indispensable, safe-to-use feature of their core product. Okay, but what if AI isn't just a helpful feature? What if it's a disruptive substitute, something capable of wiping out entire business models, maybe even overnight? Well, that brings us to the competitive paradigm. And the poster child for this kind of disruption? Chegg. For years, they built a really successful business selling subscriptions for homework help. Then, almost out of nowhere, ChatGPT arrived. And students figured out pretty quickly that a free, general-purpose AI was a perfect substitute for Chegg's specialized service. And wow, the market reaction was just brutal. A 49% drop in Chegg's stock price in a single day. A nearly 50% wipeout right after the company admitted that ChatGPT was directly hurting its subscriber growth. This wasn't some theoretical threat. This was an immediate, devastating financial reality. We're seeing the same kind of substitution happening in search. Google's entire model is built on being a search engine. It gives you a list of links, and then you do the work of finding the answer. But these new tools like Perplexity, they're answer engines. They don't just show you the links. They read them for you and give you a direct, synthesized answer. It's a zero-click experience that completely substitutes the entire act of browsing. And the potential impact here is just staggering. Gartner predicts that the volume of traffic from traditional search engines is going to plummet by 25% by 2026. This isn't just a threat to Google, by the way. It's a threat to the entire ad-supported model of the open web. Which brings us to what some people are calling the wrapper apocalypse. And Jasper AI is the ultimate cautionary tale here. They built a billion-dollar business by creating a really user-friendly layer, or a wrapper, on top of OpenAI's GPT-3. But then, when OpenAI released its own, more powerful tools, Jasper's whole value proposition just kind of evaporated. The generalist model became good enough to substitute the specialist. In the tech world, we have a name for that. It's called being Sherlocked. So if AI can substitute not just for other software, but for the human users themselves, how do you even make money? This disruption is forcing a radical rethinking of the entire software business model. We're moving from just selling tools to selling outcomes. And this is the big shift, from SaaS to SaaS. See, for the last 2 decades, we've lived in the world of software as a service, where you pay a subscription for a tool and your employees provide the labor. We are now entering the era of service as software, where you pay for the outcome and an AI agent provides the labor. But this creates a huge problem for the old model, what's called the efficiency paradox. The traditional per-seat pricing model is all based on how many humans use the software. But what happens when your amazing new AI feature makes your customers so efficient that they can actually reduce their headcount? Well, your own revenue goes down. You literally get punished for being too successful. So to solve this paradox, all these new pricing models are starting to emerge. We're moving away from just the old seat-based fees. Now we're seeing consumption-based models where you pay for what you use, kind of like with the OpenAI API. Even more radical are these outcome-based models, where you literally only pay for a successful result. And of course, there are hybrid models that mix and match all of these. Intercom's pricing for its AI agent, Finn, is a perfect real-world example of this. It's so beautifully simple. If the AI successfully resolves a customer's issue, the company pays 99 cents. If it can't solve the problem and has to pass it to a human, the company pays nothing. The incentives are just perfectly aligned. And the scale of this labor substitution is absolutely breathtaking. The fintech company Klarna reported that its one AI assistant is now handling the workload of 700 full-time human agents. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just about making a few people a little more efficient. This is labor automation on a massive scale. So all of this is pointing toward a really fascinating and radically different future. A future where the primary users of the internet might not even be us, but our autonomous AI agents. Welcome to what people are calling the agentic web. For years, businesses have obsessed over SEO, search engine optimization, all to attract human eyeballs. Well, the next frontier? It might be AEO, or Agent Engine Optimization. This means structuring your products and your data not for people, but so they can be easily understood, compared, and even purchased by autonomous AI agents that are acting on our behalf. Which leaves us with a final and pretty provocative question. As we enter this new era of service as software, what are companies really selling anymore? Is it just a better tool for a human to use? Or have we crossed a threshold where we are now designing, building, and selling an entirely new class of digital workers? The answer to that question is going to define the next decade of technology.